Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ClassicWhoZone. We've got some Ghostlight coming to you. And then next week, then, what we're going to do is, from next week onwards, we're going to be doing William Hartnell stories. We're going to do every story that's available to us. Then we'll move on to Patrick Troughton, and we're going to do every story that's available to us, and so on with every doctor. So look out for, I'm going to work on a little trailer just to get us all buzzed for the Hartnell era. So yeah, we're here for Ghostlight. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. Especially hit that like button if you do like these watch alongs. I do really enjoy them. I have sent out emails to people that I can send emails out to. I've also sent out links for anybody that follows me on Twitter. There'll be a link in your Twitter DMs. So what we'll do is we'll bring on the guests that we have with us right now, and then what we'll do is if any other guests pop on, we'll just bring them on as we go along. But let's start with our very first guest. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, it worked. Do you know what's happening with my emails? It's sending your email as like part of a chain of other emails I've had with StreamYard links.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is a bit. That's why when I was looking last night, I couldn't see it because I didn't think to look at, this is an email from somebody else and Knowles is going to be like attached, like the last one. It's really weird, but I've worked out what it's doing now at least.
Well, that's good. Well, glad to have you on board. Our next guest is the one and only Alpha Omega, or Mr. Passive Aggressive, as we like to call him on this channel.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Alpha.
Hi.
And he's his old cheery self as usual. Let's bring on our next guest. It's the one and only Real Super Doctor.
Hey, Noel. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. And let's bring on our next guest. It's the one and only Chris.
Hello.
How's everybody?
Peachy.
That's good. That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear.
That's
so
happy sounding for Bolstrek, everybody.
Ghostlight this week.
Who's Chris?
Long story.
Sorry,
that
just
would be
a silence going on here. Right? Okay, let's start again. Right, Bolstrek, what were you saying?
Alpha Omega was saying, "Who's Chris?" I'm like, that is me.
That's his real name.
I am retiring the Bolstrek name at the end of the year. Most of my content and probably, for the most part, the main channel.
What are you doing? A relaunch somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of doing the same shit over and over again. It's not what I would call fun anymore. Very long story. I may make a video about it at some point, but yeah, it's time for a change, time for something different.
Well, wish you the best for it. But right now we're here for Ghostlight, Doctor Who. You're a fan of this era. So do you want to give everybody a little bit of background on how about this story? So is there anything you'd like to say about it before we do start it?
No, this was actually the final story filmed for Doctor Who, and was originally meant to be the season finale. It's confusing as hell and doesn't make any sense, but I love the atmosphere.
Fantastic. Does anybody else have anything to say before we start it? And if everybody in the chat could please press 1. Let us know that you're ready. That'll be absolutely fantastic. As I said, if the other guests turn up, I know Lee has been working on something really hard because he sent me something to have a look at, and all I'll just say is wow.
I'm gonna have to, like, when I next see him on stream, I'm gonna be embarrassed, like, saying how much I love him right now because of what he did.
Oh, did you seen
Yeah,
it? Did
I
you?
saw it. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
absolutely amazing. But boy, I'm not going to say anything, folks. It's Lee's reveal, but holy crap, um, very good, very well put together. You will know, you will see what I'm talking about pretty soon. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait for you all to see it. I love the way he gives us sneak peeks all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, God love him. He sent me an email saying, like, check it out, see what you think.
Yeah, I was blown away. I have to be honest. He knocked it out of the park again as usual. That's all I'll say. But look, we'll leave it there. If he pops in, because I know he was working hard, so normally he's probably either had a nap or something, or he'll arrive fashionably late. PD, as far as I know, mods for Rabbi, so he'll be in as soon as that finishes up. So this is our panel. So guys, just before we do start though, just make sure that our sound is down. We don't really need to be doing sound checks if everybody has their sound down low at the beginning anyway.
Just
So
everybody mute.
Yeah.
so just make sure that there's no sound coming through if you don't mind, because YouTube are just being sticklers. Like, yeah, I just don't get it. Like, it makes no sense. There's some channels out there that can use clips nearly willy, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of audio comes through my streams and they limit me stream. Like,
It's called favoritism, Noel.
it just, I know it seems to be. Do you know what? I never used to believe that, Chris, but.
Oh, I believe it.
To be honest with you, I started to believe it as well. Sure, I remember one time I was live and someone actually sent me a message. No, you realize you're shadow banned, right? And I was like, what's shadow banned? I hadn't
I've
got a
been
clue
shadow
what was
banned
going
for 2 years.
on. But I went and checked and there you go. My stream was fucking shadow banned, and I was like, what the hell? Why are they shadow banning me? Like, I'm a small. Like, if I was a big fish, right? If I was a big fish, right, with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I'd get it, right, to a certain extent. Even though it wouldn't be fair if they were shadow banning me and all of that, I'd get it. But the fact that I've like 1900, I think it's 1980 subscribers now, so we're only 20 away from 2000. But if I had any more, I'd get it. But the fact that I'm a small fish in a very, very big pond, and I mean a tiny little fish, that's what baffles me. The censorship on YouTube is just gone out the window.
Yeah, but
It's
you
like,
have those risky things called opinions and all.
I know,
It's,
but
it's
do you know
also
what?
you don't buy subs and you don't buy views.
No, never would anyway. I remember someone telling me in the early days, do you want to learn ways and tricks to boost your subs and stuff like that? And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. You grow your channel. Look, I always believe anyway, you grow your channel organically, you'll last longer on YouTube, even though YouTube don't do you any favors, but you will last on YouTube. I'd probably set up my channel at a nice time. You set up one now, it's it depends on the topic that you're doing. And if you do a topic that appeals, then you have a good chance. But we see a lot of new channels being created and they go nowhere. Actually, that just reminds me, I won't mention any names, but someone was complaining because YouTube weren't doing their job right, and that their channel wasn't getting the views that it should be getting. And I just had a little giggle because they were blaming YouTube, and I was kind of thinking to myself, the first thing that popped into my head was like, uh, maybe it's the fact that you're a horrible human being and people actually see right through your crap. and don't like the fact that you went after like YouTubers and people on Twitter. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because everybody thinks you're an arrogant twat, right? But
Yep.
like blaming YouTube, I just had to have a laugh. I had a laugh last night because this person's delusional. Like you need to leave it out. The reason why your channel's gone nowhere is because you're being pathetic on Twitter, and you're going anytime you're doing a video, you're going and attacking people now, and you've turned out to be a bit of a fraud. I mean, giving fans lectures about the timeless children, about how it fits into canon and stuff, and defending it when all along you never bleeding watched most of Bleeding Classic Who. Probably didn't even watch the episode that was supposed to be referenced in the Timeless Children, which would have been the Brain of Morbius. You probably didn't even watch that. So when you were giving out the fans, having a go at them, you didn't actually know what you were talking about. And I hate people like that. Really do, man. Like, stop being a fraud. Like, be true to yourself. You grew up with the New Who era. There's no shame in that. We have loads of people on this panel that grew up with the New Who era we have over the last few years. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still Doctor Who. It's just a different animal. Doesn't make you any less of a fan. But to pretend that you know everything about the lore and the canon, and then to be exposed that, well, I haven't actually watched all the Classic Who, that to me just shouts hypocrisy. Just shut up. That's why I don't take this person seriously anymore. That's why I had a bit of a laugh, because maybe it's the fact that you're horrible to people and people don't like horrible people. That's one thing in society that still notice. Yet there's a lot of horrible people out there, but the majority of us, we don't get attracted to horrible people. We ignore horrible people. Thankfully, there's still people out there that won't give you the views and the satisfaction that you need. It's actually quite sad. But there you go. I've said my piece anyway. Nobody knows who I'm really talking about. So we'll just
Really,
leave
Noel,
it
I have no clue whatsoever. It's a complete mystery. I'm just my brain is just a buzz
Yeah.
with confusion.
Yeah. Well, I'll say no more, but I just had a giggle. That's all I just wanted to tell you. So I had a bit of a giggle yesterday. Right. Everybody in the chat, I think, is ready, because I've seen a few ones. Is everybody in the, I should say, on the panel ready? And here, I
Yeah.
better make sure now
Yeah.
this plays, because I have the bad luck that, I get ready for these and I tell everybody to do the countdown, and guess what happens? It freezes on me. And then I get frustrated. So I actually hasn't froze. I'm ready to go. So, Charlotte, without further ado,
Yeah, my voice works.
do
So
the
5,
countdown.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh, wait, I hear audio.
whoa, whoa.
That's my no singing, I think.
Oh,
This
Well-
happens to be one of the most mysterious of the Seventh Doctor stories. It's obviously he's becoming darker as he's going along, and it's quite interesting because there's a different take in the character.
Yeah, I think this is. I remember when I first watched this, and I just spent most of that stream being confused.
Yeah, it does. It's quite like that.
Wow, part 1.
But then Mark Platt, if you ever listen to any of his Big Finish work, he tends to do very complex stories there. He's not one for straightforward, this fella.
Yeah.
See, you don't know what's going on in this story, but the atmosphere is just awesome. I first saw this episode when they originally aired season 26 in North America in November, December 1990.
Yeah.
And I remember I was 12. I had no idea what was going on in this entire story, but I loved it. It's like Sapphire and Steel.
It's but sometimes you do get those Doctor Who episodes. You don't know what the hell's going on, or stories I should say, but there's enough in it to keep you keep you interested, and you have to see where it goes as well.
There is an alternate version available of this. This story was originally supposed to be a parter. So that's when it got condensed during filming. A bunch of stuff got moved around. Scenes got edited out, but there is an edit out there somewhere where everything makes much more sense. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think I prefer this one.
Well, on my first viewing, it like you said, it didn't make any sense. But upon repeated viewings, then things it does make sense to me now, but it didn't at the time.
And for the longest time, this was the most valuable DVD in Region 1 because it was one of the first to go out of print. Fun fact, the most expensive DVD in Region 1 at one point was The Web Planet. Which,
War Games.
No, Web Planet went out of print first. And then War Games became the most expensive. But at one point, the Web Planet was going for $6,000 on Amazon.
Wow.
Wow.
But it's like I don't I don't know if somebody on the panel said this or somebody even worked it. It's a clever idea. It's like, what do the BBC do best, especially at this time? They were known
Period dramas.
for period dramas, so
Yep.
set it in a massive period house and have them all dressed up, and you've got so many things that you'd have to make a set almost. You can just sort of hodgepodge stuff together to make the gorgeous set we get.
I think it was Andrew Cartnell that said during this time when they had no budget, like the BBC did wonders with the historical stories, but whenever they had to design a spaceship, it looked like complete shit. So that's why like this entire season is either historical or shot on location. At this point, he's like, we're not even going to bother trying the sci-fi.
Yeah, because he knew what it would look like.
Yeah. But yeah, I do rank this as one of my top 10 favorite Doctor Who stories.
But when you do that, do you have like a classic list and a modern Who list, or do you mix them balls?
It used to be mixed. To be honest, my fanship of New Who is waning very quickly, so I'm not even really considering it. But I view Classic Who as kind of a completely separate entity now. So
Yeah.
I'd say I have more of a Classic Who top 10, which varies all the time. But consistently for me, for years, my favorite seasons have been Tom Baker's second and third season, and this one, season 26. And I think these were the height of Classic Who.
Yeah.
The Philip Hinchcliffe.
And then, of course, we all know what my least favorite is, which just came out on Blu-ray. Season 24, which I just got used. Yeah.
Plus, as well, you can. This is a very heavy Ace story, and I think
Yeah.
that also might have thrown people watching it at the time, because obviously the companions were important in Classic, but I don't think they were as much centre stage yet. Was like what I'm used to watching the newer run. So the fact that this is Ace, this is backstory, and looking at her sort of relationship with the Doctor, that might have thrown people a bit.
Oh, and Noel, are you hearing any noise in the background? Because I'm pretty sure it must have been coming from one of the Yeti mics. I've adjusted my settings this week, so it shouldn't be bleeding through if it was.
Yeah, there's nothing coming through this week, so thank you, everybody.
It may have been a mixture of me and Lee because we both use Yeti mics.
So do I.
Oh, okay, Alpha Omega.
I can't even hear my audio. So.
So,
The sets in this are completely impressive. I mean, they had to knock up these sets, especially for this serial.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of. It was mainly stuff that they already had at Television Center.
Yeah.
For other dramas, because Doctor Who never would have had the little elements were made specifically, but at this point, Doctor Who had like the budget of your nightly news broadcast, so
Yeah.
they. I think that worked in its favor, though, the fact that they were forced to not rely on elaborate sets and they had to be creative. So, between location shooting and existing BBC sets, I think they did really well.
They were just so good, weren't they? Though at like getting like nothing from the BBC, whether that was budget or time or attention, and just sort of creating what they could. That's at this stage they were the sort of pros, sadly, at doing that, weren't they?
Yeah, I think that's what makes season 26 so strong, is that they only had creativity to rely on. They had nothing else, and they had Andrew Cartmel, who's absolutely brilliant. I think he should have been showrunner, even though he was young and inexperienced at the time. But John Nathan Turner had a hands-off approach. He was mainly just handling the little bit of money that was available, and that's it. This, by season 26, it's all Andrew Cartmel. He was basically the showrunner.
So had he done anything of note before Who? Or was it literally like his first big profile job?
He'd worked on other shows, but he was in his late 20s when he became script editor. Like he was really young. I think he was 28, 29. So this was his first big job, as far as I know.
Got the doctor trying to be like he's a psychiatrist during this series or this episode.
He's testing her, isn't he? He's testing her.
That's yeah. They're all tests. Ghostlight, Curse of Fenric, and Survival were all tests to make her a Time Lord the next season.
Yeah.
No problem, Cardi Witch. Nice to see you in the chat for as long as we can.
It might have been interesting to see where they would have gone with another season of Sylvester if they continued down that line, like the all-powerful, all-knowing doctor.
Actually, you can to a certain extent. Big Finish picked up, because scripts were actually written, or some of them were written. Big Finish actually did the missing season with the pieces that they had about 12 years ago.
Oh, was it like a missing story then? Because I know they've done a few of those.
With Lost Stories, yeah, it was originally to cover missing seasons. They did Colin Baker's unfilmed season, which was in between
Mission to Magnus and
and then later they did what would have been season 24. I haven't listened to it since 12 years, but since about 12 years ago. But I know they went with the Ace arc. From what I remember, they didn't really go with the Doctor as God arc so much, and within canon, they actually Big Finish themselves did something completely different with Ace. She stays with the Doctor for like a decade, and then goes off and teaches university courses.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, because the whole thing sort of with the Time Lords is like they're sort of a corrupt sort of group because of the power.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, if Ace got turned into a Time Lord, would she have sort of fallen to that vice of power, or would she have carried on being the Ace we knew when she was a companion?
I think that was the whole point. because the doctor from the beginning saw something in Ace that was true, and I hate to use the word, but virtuous. And he figured that she couldn't be corrupted, but he wanted to test her before he actually made her a Time Lord. So yeah, so I think it's even subtly hinted at very badly in Dragonfire. But it's the idea is that the Doctor saw something in Ace from the very beginning.
Is that what they talk about in like Fenric? About what he saw her in her.
Yeah, and it's Fenric was kind of her ultimate test because in that one actually both of these are both forcing Ace to face her past because she was traumatized by events that would happen in this house in her own time, and Fenric was her going back to deal with her past, specifically to deal with her mother. And survival is seeing if Ace could survive being corrupted or not by being turned into a cat person. So each of these three stories is a test.
Plus, it's very sort of, you can think of an unforeseen test in survival to have the master in there for her. The Doctor didn't suspect, would never have dreamt that the master would still be about. So that was probably another bit of his little equation afterwards to see, oh, she's faced the master now. How does she deal with that?
He just pushes her. Just grabs her again. We just watched a minute of Ace being manhandled by the Doctor.
And considering Sylvester's quite a short one, it's not an easy feat to do that.
Now she's getting her hair pulled. I think one thing that a lot of people don't notice is if you compare McCoy's portrayal of the Doctor in season 24 versus season 26, it's actually completely different.
Yeah. Because you can see the more darker, manipulative Doctor, and he's really expressing his secrets and everything like that, and it's quite interesting from that point of view that you're seeing this darker Doctor emerge. You're not so quite sure about him. You know that he's got a lot of secrets, and that.
Well, that's why he changed to the darker coat too. It was supposed to be symbolic.
Yeah,
it's more slapstick in the first season.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Especially the first episode, falling all over his feet into the...
Oh yeah, and it's so weird because when you see Sylvester do the darker stuff, you can see he's so much better at it. Like, you can really see that's his wheelhouse, not the slapstick.
Well, kind of the way it went is Andrew Cartmel, before he even got, or when he was in talks to get the scriptwriter position, he only wanted one person for the role, which was Sylvester McCoy, because he could see him doing this. But the problem is with season 24, Well, he was technically script editor. The scripts and everything had already been written. It was basically handled by JNT. And that's why you have the different characterization in season 24. But after that, Cartmel was given carte blanche. So this was the character that he envisioned from the beginning. So if Cartmel had been there in season 24, it would have been completely different. We would have had this Doctor from the beginning, which is the Cartmel master plan. But in contrast to what we've seen in current years with Doctor Who, he was never going to reveal who the Doctor was. The idea was he was going to drop subtle hints because he thought that the mystery of the Doctor had been left behind in previous incarnations, so he wanted to bring that back. So the idea was he was going to drop hints throughout and then maybe tease at a resolution, but he said this after the events of last year, you never reveal who the Doctor is. You never fully reveal his past, because once you've done that, you've lost the entire point of the show, and there's no point going on.
Yeah, no, I've seen a few streams with him, because obviously it's been brought up his master plan a lot now. You can see it's that idea of it's almost like he understood you just need to give a little bit, and then the fans will sort of run away by themselves or will get excited by themselves. You don't need to give them everything, just give them enough. And I think that was his approach that I got from listening to him speak in the last couple of years, like you said.
Didn't they give us? He gave us the impression there that he was like part of like the big three in Time Lord Society, like Rassilon. Oh my God, the Doctor were like the big.
It was
like
to be
that.
hinted at.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, and he actually got really mad when, and that's why he did a lot of streams. Is I'm like, well, no, part of Cartmel's master plan was to describe who the Doctor was, so we're justified. And then he just went on every stream he could and called it bullshit. There's even one stream where one of my fans actually leaves the stream partway through because he got frustrated. I'm like, no. And Stephen Moffat tried doing something similar, and he wouldn't have done it either.
Well, he did the whole name of the Doctor thing. That was like, you just thought, please don't, Moffat, please don't.
Well,
kind of
Moffat
hinted
was
at
a
it.
troll. Yeah, no, he was a troll. He did that on purpose, but Moffat never would have revealed his past. Moffat and Cartmel were very similar because they both delved into the lore of kind of who the Doctor is and hinted at his past and how this is really, you think it's the jokey character, but this is actually a dangerous person if you cross him the wrong way.
Yeah, it's funny because I think because I know in the last couple of years, and this is before the current run, there was this issue with the Doctor becoming too powerful. The Doctor being seen as like this godlike figure. And
I think they described them in the books as that McCoy wanted them to be darker as well, and McCoy wanted to draw on that this Doctor was going to go complete schizophrenic. He was going to become multiple personality. He was going to become a real dangerous being in that, and he's going to be like a threat to the universe and all that. and this is what they were going to touch upon, and sadly they didn't get to do that. And it would have been interesting.
Well, they did get to do it, but much later. If you look at it, David Tennant, the arc is very similar to Sylvester McCoy, where you think they're the lighthearted, jokey Doctor, and then you realize like they the 4th, 7th, and 10th Doctors are by far the most dangerous. I'd say specifically the 7th and 10th. You don't want to mess with them. So I think they did that arc because David Tennant did become completely corrupted. Unfortunately, there was a missed opportunity there because you could have done an entire series with the Time Lord Victorious instead of the bullshit that they did last year. That's one of the gripes I have with the RTD era. I'm like, you did it for the end of an episode, but you should have done a 3-episode movie arc with that. It would have been awesome.
It should have just been the whole of the special run, shouldn't it? It shouldn't have been in one special. It should have been that sort of mini arc almost.
Yep.
I know, because I was going to say, I think the idea of the Doctor being a god isn't a bad idea if you understand how to do it, implement it, which is the idea of this powerful being like God that you don't know how powerful they are until you go too far.
Yeah.
I think that's where if you want to make any similarities to the God with the Doctor, that's how you need to do it.
Yep.
To
And I think
basically
it was- Oh, go ahead, Charlotte.
to basically have this mysterious figure that you know he's intelligent, you know he's got years of experience behind his belt, but you don't fully know what that's made of him until you cross a line, and then you go, "Oh, I really shouldn't have done that." And that's when the comparison needs to come out, I think, of a god.
They've been doing that since the reboot, though. What they call him, the oncoming storm, and that type of thing. And I didn't mind the darker side that they were portraying, like with Tennant and stuff. I didn't really like Dawn or whoever. You need somebody to rein you in, or from time to time. It's like I didn't mind seeing that, or with the Arachnos or whatever. They gave them the chance and they screwed up, and then they killed all the babies. Or I didn't mind that.
No, and I think it was a good way to grow the show, because for the first 6 incarnations, you didn't know his backstory, but you knew that, he was just frustrated with Time Lord society and he left. But I think given that the show was 24 years old by the time you get to Sylvester McCoy, actually, I'm just going to turn this down for the thing. But by the time you get till Sylvester McCoy, okay, the show's 24 years old. We need to do something different. And I think Andrew Cartmel is an absolute genius in coming up with this, because nobody had really thought about this before.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what if it's not so simple? What if there is a past that we don't know about? What if this man is actually dangerous? And what if you have an incarnation where that danger is more to the forefront than it was in any of the other ones? And there's the idea that with his early regenerations, especially with the second and fifth Doctors, they were lighthearted because the Doctor was actually trying to suppress that element of himself, which is why the fifth Doctor was so innocent, because the theory goes in that regeneration, he'd actually put the entire element of danger aside. But even if you look at the fifth Doctor, he became pretty badass near the end as well. So there's
He could be prickly, and I like those little moments in Davidson's telly run where he just has a look and you just go, "Oh, that's good." Because I like it because it's a bit of a hint. It's not, like you said, it's not a big part of his personality. It's just sort of very bubbling underneath the surface, almost, I would say, with 5.
Yeah.
But with the fifth Doctor, it was like he went out his way to save his companion. And I mean, that's how Davison went out heroically. Because he had to save the life of his companion, get the bat's milk, and go through all that just to save the life of his young companion.
And it wasn't even just saving the life; it was a companion he'd hardly met.
I know as well. And
he had the dark side of him, even up into Capaldi, like Face the Raven, and whenever she died, or she died the first time or whatever. But he was telling me, you stay out of my way in the future, because you'll find the universe is a very small place when he's angry with someone.
So there was an element of danger with Capaldi, and as far as I could tell, that was the original plan, where he was going to revive the Dark Doctor. The problem is, with interference from the BBC, Moffat was forced to essentially completely rewrite his character in season 9 and do something completely different. But Capaldi was supposed to go on a very similar arc as well, except he started out as grumpy, but kind of grumpy and humorous, and he was going to get darker as it went on. But unfortunately, we got what we got.
Yeah.
Right, is everybody on the panel ready? We got a few ones in the chat.
Yep.
We'll walk away, Charlotte.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
It's too bad that Lee's not here, because he was actually on set when this story was being filmed.
And this actually is the first CGI Doctor Who title sequence.
Oh, it shows. I'm sorry, it shows.
Well,
it is very blocky.
But also, you have to keep in mind that this was done in 1987. For the time, even if you compare the
I don't
Star
mind
Trek:
it.
The Next Generation, it can be a little bit blocky. But for the time, this was cutting edge, and it's they actually, the only thing they were given a budget for was the new title sequence, and it took weeks to render it using computer technology at the time. So this is one of those things where I think it can be forgiven because you have to look at it in context of 1986, 1987. For the time period, it was revolutionary. It's crap now, but at the time, nobody was doing this. Even the opening credits to The Next Generation were practical.
And even if you look back in the 1980s, they used a system called Quantel, I think, for the Leisure Hive. And they could only use that for the one story because it was the equipment they used for that. They only had it rented out.
Yep. It's like, that's one of the reasons that I think why I love stuff from the 80s, because you're doing it wrong if you're comparing it to what we've got today. And frankly, what we have today with CGI is just bland. It's not impressive anymore. But if you go back and watch anything from the 80s, sci-fi, horror, whatever, and you look at what they did with what they had, with practical effects, it's not CGI. It's they had to make everything work in camera, and they had to come with inventive ways of doing it. And when you look at when they did try early CGI, it was bold in the genuine sense. And, I think it was cool. They were trying something different. And I remember the first time I saw this era, unfortunately, was Delta and the Bannerman was the first episode I saw.
Oh, that's right.
But I remember the first time I saw the title sequences, the new title sequence, this would have been around February 1988. I'm like, this is, I remember I taped it. I hated the episode, but I just remember playing that title sequence over and over again. I'm like, this is so cool, because in 1987, 1988, it was cool because it wasn't something that you saw all the time.
I remember that when I first saw it, I think the first episode that I saw was Paradise Towers, and if I could remember rightly, I was the same with the title sequence. I was quite fascinated with the police box in it and that, but it was the first time I saw the police box in a Doctor Who title sequence.
And I think Paradise Towers is a better introduction than Delta and the Bannerman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delta's just that. I think that's one of the few times when I haven't been able to give an episode a score, because I was just like, I don't know. This is just like this. It was like everything I'd heard about 80s Who distilled that was bad almost in that story.
It's the only DVD that I didn't finish out of all the 12 or however many years I was collecting them. I tried twice. The only time I think I've watched that episode all the way through since probably the early 90s was when we did a live stream here, I think it was around Christmas time last year. And I don't think I'll be watching it again. But I will say that Paradise Towers is the least terrible episode that season, and I think if some of the campness and pantomime was toned down, it had the potential of being a good episode, but the execution was just horrendous.
It was actually quite a dark story, Paradise Towers. I mean, you had this tower, and it had been segregated into different groups and different people living in different apartments and all that, and they all had sinister undertones. Like the Resis were actually cannibals and that, and the Red Kangs and the Blue Kangs fighting with each other, and
Red
that.
Kangs are best.
Yep.
Yeah. I think if Cartmel had been given full control of that, which he didn't because he came in all developed. I think had Paradise Towers been fifth story in season 26, it would have been done completely differently, because it is the only one in season 24 that is a genuinely good story. The other three are shit. But the problem is it has a terrible execution, and just the way they did it was just cringy as
Richard
fuck.
Briers.
Yeah, Richard Briers is Croagnon, getting possessed by Croagnon.
Yeah.
Was Paradise Towers based off a book, or have I got that wrong? Or was it only based off, like, inspired by another piece of either a book or movie or something?
It was inspired by something. I can't remember what it was, though.
Inspired by something.
Oh, I need to refill my coffee.
Because I could remember when I saw Paradise Towers, I was actually kind of scared of it. Well, that was back then. I mean, I thought it was quite frightening seeing that Mel had got a net over her head, and then the Rezzies started poking her with pokers and that, and I thought that's a bit scary. I mean, I was like on the edge, and I was waiting for next week. I was like to the point whether I should watch this for next week or not.
You were like, oh, do I want to watch possibly Mel be killed?
No, it was quite terrible.
They were fattening her up to it,
Like,
giving her cookies.
yeah, because is Paradise Towers the one with the candy man?
Yeah, no, that's the happiness.
Happiness
Patrol.
Patrol.
Oh, see, I get those like mixed up when it comes to like really bad Sylvester stories in my head.
The Happiness Patrol is a mixture of bad and good. It's got good elements in it as well, but I think they get done when I don't know if they get sued because they had copied Bertie Bassett.
Oh, no, that they did, but they did. But the BBC somehow won it,
Yeah,
and it's just when you look at that monster, you're like, how on earth did you get away with that? It's so blatant what it's inspired by. We were to be kind.
and then Fifi the dog. I mean, it was completely, it was a puppet. But there was a lot of good performances from Sheila Hancock because she was quite good at it, Helen A, and she was like the kind of Margaret Thatcher. That's what she was supposed to be. And it was supposed to be a kind of political story, but at the time that was making fun of politics. It wasn't outwardly political. It was just to make fun of that current situation. So I think Ghostlight was the last story that they actually made because they already had Survival in the can. But it would be more interesting if the Master had came into this as well.
Yeah, but where would you put him?
Well, I would
behind it all, or like.
Well, I would say it was kind of more or less the Master trying to control the aliens that are there because he's want to kind of seize some power that they've got. And it could also work in well with Gabriel Chase or something like that?
Was it the actor or the character name?
The character.
Oh, I'm terrible at remembering names. It's like with Classic Who, because sometimes there's so many characters in a story. I'm just so bad at remembering the secondary sort of.
I mean, I can only remember characters if they're the baddest characters or the goodest characters.
Yeah, if they're sort of like in between, I'm like you. If they're like secondary goons or they're not quite the full villain, I just struggle.
Oh, no, he's gonna have a banana.
So I find this quite hilarious. He's turned into kind of a monkey.
Yeah. See, I don't think the master would work in this because I think the idea that you don't really know what's going on kind of works. If anybody's a fan of Sapphire and Steel, this is the story I recommend.
I think that's what the most of Doctor Who, the best of Doctor Who episodes are. That you don't know what's going on, and there's wee bits in it just pulling you along and grabbing your attention and making you watch the episode. I think that's how a Doctor Who episode for me works.
I think it depends with me. I think sometimes because I love my stories that are quite character heavy. Like, because a while ago I did I was on another stream, and the idea was basically pick one story for each Doctor. For like if you were to showcase each Doctor basically, and I picked it. I did my list, and afterwards when we were all chatting about our lists, like a few of the people said that go, oh, we can see like you really like your emotion and your characters. And I think because I like that naturally in the story, sometimes that means I do tend to like some of the ones where it is a bit more clear what's going on, because I think that makes it easier to do your character stuff. But I think sometimes I do agree you need to, like I said before, with the whole God idea and like what Cartmel sort of, I think he does understand. You need to give a bit of the story, and then let the rest sort of fester in almost the imagination, and for the fans to add their own stories to what you've done.
It's such a weird house. It's like out of one of Capaldi's stories. What was that again? The
one with the what's his
David
name?
Suchet was in it.
Oh, what's it called? With the housemates. Series 10.
Knock Knock.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was a bad story. The audio was cool though.
Yeah, I thought it was just a huge cop out when it turned out to be his daughter, and he was basically just kind of keeping the illusion going on.
See,
I didn't really
barely
like
remember it. I haven't watched it since it originally aired, which is true for most of that series.
The main thing I can remember is just the bits I liked about that story was seeing the Doctor try to like fit in with
that was a bit funny.
That was fun, but then the rest of it, I do agree, it wasn't good. But obviously, if you're thinking more classic, this has massive Hinchcliffe vibes just with the setting, doesn't it? Almost reminds me of the house in Pyramids of Mars a bit.
Yeah.
Another great set built from standing BBC sets.
Yeah.
Morbius.
And another thing about the BBC, they were very big in costume dramas, so they could hire costumes from other productions and that, and they could use them. Like they could use them in Black Orchid as well, and I thought they worked very well in Black Orchid.
Yeah, because I know some people don't like the historical stuff in Who, but I just think it's a time travel show. Like, you have a
Yeah.
TARDIS, you have to do, now and again, you have to go back and do a historical episode.
I like what they did to change it, because in William Hartnell's era, they were true historicals with no science
Yeah.
fiction, and the ratings were terrible. So I like the compromise that they came up with during the Troughton era, which really holds true until 2017, when the show ended, where they do historicals, but all the historicals, there's still an element of science fiction, because Doctor Who was supposed to be an educational show. Originally,
Yeah.
they decided, well, no, it's not the educational element that's catching on. It's not the historicals. People love the monsters. So starting with the Troughton era and on, midway through the Troughton era, the historicals, I'm like, they'll take place in a historical setting, but there has to be an element of science fiction to them,
Like
which
the
I
visitation.
yeah.
The
Like
Great
Evil
Fire
of the
London.
Daleks.
Actually, that was the first one. That was the experiment.
Yeah. I've seen the animation to the Evil of the Daleks, and I would give it a 10 out of 10. It's really good.
So is it done by a different company than the one that was doing all the crappy ones?
I think it was the one done that done the Macra Terror.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not that bad. It does. It's got its faults, and you can see it with the eyes of the characters and that, and the articulation of the characters. But the articulation of the Daleks is quite good.
It's eventually they'll be able to do those. Well, the technology exists now. It's just kind of iffy. But with deep fakes, they could redo all those stories pretty close to accurate, because they have quite a few photographs from every story. And
Yeah.
I'm not for recreating someone if they're dead and it's a different role. But here I'm okay, because the voices are the original actors. It's based off photographic evidence from the time, so you're just recreating the performance, and I'm cool with, and that I think we'll see those
Might be a
probably
bit expensive.
about 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, no, as the price comes down, or as the cost comes down.
And they get more used to doing it because, sorry, which one was it where you could see the first try at that tech with Troughton? Was it Weather Fear? Which one was it? And it was just so, like, uncanny valley. Your brain just couldn't, like, comprehend what you were watching almost.
Yeah, it was. I've seen it. There's one done with William Hartnell too, where it's like, because that's the reason for a long time they were going to stop doing animations, because it actually was fairly expensive to do them. That's why after the invasion they stopped for a while. That was 14 years ago, and the cost of that with computer technology has gone down significantly. So that's why we're getting animations now, where even 14 years ago, that wasn't very cost effective, because just computer power wasn't quite up to spec at the time to make something reasonable. Whereas now anybody can do it, and there are fan animations that are better than what's being put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fans can pretty much 9 times out of 10 can do a better job than the BBC at the moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, the less said, the better.
Just covered up by a sheet. That's not creepy at all.
Like, that is creepy. It's
Yeah.
funny, but it's creepy too.
It's a bit like Bagpuss in a way.
Get out the pit of Jello. They love grabbing her hair.
Oh, she has got it in a ponytail, this story, so it's like prime sort of opportunity, isn't it?
Just a minute. I'm gonna mute. No, turn this down. There we go.
Hi, Lee. Notifications are fun, aren't they? In the chat, Lee Halford.
Hello, Lee. YouTube hates everybody here because we don't pay them. Yeah, it's kind of just hey, who's on today? It's come to that.
I've been not getting, sometimes not getting, but I'll get like multiple, like for the same thing, like 4 times or something in a row. Like weird.
I'm weird. Like most people who I hear, like who are like part of the fandom or people who are mates, and they go, "Oh, I never get notifications," and I do. For most people, it's weird.
It's I don't get notifications for anybody I watch normally. I get notifications from channels I haven't watched in years, and some I'm not even subscribed to.
Oh, I get those. Yes, I do.
In fact, there's one friend of ours who shall remain nameless, who's complaining that he's not getting any views anymore because he sucks. I still get that individual's notifications for every goddamn video.
Same, and it even recommended on Twitter as well. Like, so they've no excuses. It's the fact that they're just not popular. Need to get over themselves, to be quite honest with you.
They're like, nobody gets notifications for me anymore. I don't even bother saying sign up for or ring the bell, because even if you ring the bell, it's like I'm a ghost.
But they even did it between Daniel, which I just find hilarious.
Oh, they do it to everyone. They have a list, and if they don't like you, or if you haven't given them money, because yes, that's a thing, they hate you. And I'm not going to mention names, but I'm fairly certain who has given YouTube money and who hasn't. And there are still some people out there that can grow their channels through, hard work.
Yep.
It's like you look at somebody like Gary or Critical Drinker. They grew their channels the right way through working their asses off. You look at somebody like Who Shall Remain Nameless. here, YouTube, I'll buy
Are you talking like actual, literally giving them money to for favor?
Well, no, it's under the. I've been offered it in the past. It's you can buy subscribers. It's similar to advertising. It's just not called advertising. You can buy subscribers. You can buy positions on YouTube, which is why when you see certain YouTubers or certain videos, they show up in every time you search a topic, every time you watch a video. This was even it was before I even became big.
I thought that was illegal, though. I thought you're not allowed by.
Oh, it's an outside company that does it.
Well, how does that work anyway? So you buy subscribers, but what does that does? Fuck all. It just makes your subscriber count go up, though, but it does nothing for your channel, though.
Oh, people have been caught doing it. You can buy subscribers, you can buy views, but what it does is it will create a certain Matthew, who was once mundane, whose name shall not be mentioned, was actually caught trying to do this, and he was not in favor with anybody at this point because he was reporting people.
It wasn't flagging people.
But no, it was caught in real time where allegedly, there's videos on it. I think he had them taken down, but allegedly this mundanity, who shall remain nameless, a completely hypothetical story, yes or not, when he was in the middle of what has since become known as the Boulder incident, he was caught buying subscribers because he was losing like 10,000 a day. So all of a sudden it went up by, I think it was 30,000. Mysteriously it went up, and then people were calling attention to this, and because this individual may or may not have been in good standing with anybody at this point, they were automatically deleted. So you can do it. I have been approached. I won't say the name of the company, but it's because it's a third party.
There's no point, though. There's no point because it doesn't do anything for your channel anyway. And
you can purchase. You can be augmented in the algorithm, and that's what helps you. So yeah, you kind of have to do all three. You have to make the illusion of success by buying subs and purchasing views and upvotes. But you can also have yourself augmented in the algorithm, so you'll be the first search result, and that's how. And it's not illegal. It's just against terms of service because YouTube is a private company. They can do what they want.
Yeah.
And YouTube themselves at times will just decide to augment channels and de-augment something else, like may have happened to me more times than I can count. But that's how it works. You have people that do it the right way. But here's the difference.
Not illegal, but immoral.
Yeah. Well, no, but the channels that do it the right way, like, Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, many other channels I can think of, those that did it the right way, they maintain their popularity because they earned their place. They've got a following. People that did it artificially, they will fall out of favor very quickly because it wasn't because people were interested in their content. It's because you augment yourself.
Yeah.
And especially on our side, say just out of the shadow of the blue, making attack videos, who shall remain nameless. Our side, which was once known as the Fandom Menace, but that's not really a thing anymore. It kind of imploded on itself. So I'll just call it Common Reason. Common Reason on our side, the age demographic is typically older. And most of us we're not interested in YouTube drama because we're not in goddamn high school, which is why I'll do it on Twitter, but I don't do it on my YouTube channel. And most of the other big creators don't do it on their channels either, because if you are on the side of reason, we like analyzing things as they are. We're not in high school. We don't want to get involved in beefs. And that's, I have not mentioned any names. I will not mention any names. That's my rule. But this is just me musing off the top of my head and not saying anything.
Yeah. Right, let's get to the next episode. And yes, we are the Avenging Nerd. We're on the third episode of Ghostlight. I've seen a couple of ones in the chat. So if Charlotte, without further ado, you want to do the old countdown?
Yep, so
Go
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. Fucking go.
Go.
Go, I said go.
Yeah, you
Go,
sound a bit
go.
Irish though when
Michael,
you say
go.
Excuse me. That was rude.
I don't do that.
Rick and Marty.
Do
No, but
I
Here.
like to have a
Oh,
pill?
and a Gobby guy just left a comment. There's no point in buying subs. I hope I've heard all mine. You have, man.
Oh, you have. You really
Makes
have.
me feel happy to know that some lunatics like my crap. Well, I like your crap, dude, and yeah, I have been called a lunatic. But no, I have to say, just that video was absolutely brilliant, my friend. I actually I watched the premiere as it was going on, and it was awesome. And Charlotte and Lee, holy crap!
I did it, and I don't want to. I'm guessing I'll probably talk about it more when Lee's on with us. But I basically wrote that last year when it was it was November time, so it was the anniversary, like every year when we celebrate it. And I just saw the fandom being so despondent and so depressed and down. And I just thought, what have we all been saying for years? We've not had a doctor.
when
So
did
I
this go up yesterday?
just before we started, actually, I was on Dean's channel.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
say
it
I
premiered
didn't.
right before
wasn't
the
anything
stream.
yesterday.
Yeah, so I I wrote it basically with the thought of what would the doctor say if he was around, and how would he sort of get our hopes back up? So that's sort of the premise of that speech. But Lee added bits. That wasn't all my writing. So he added his own bits, which I loved.
We need to get Lee playing the doctor in an audiobook, because actually he did amazingly well.
He
Fan
did.
audiobook.
He did. He was on the button.
See, if you want to just see how batshit crazy this episode is, just look at that dude.
He goes from up here to light.
But thank you, Chris. I appreciate what you.
Oh, no problem, Charlotte. And no, honestly, I thought it was brilliant. You guys should be doing more of that. And I was amazed at how many people took part too. That was awesome. I wasn't there myself, but my goat made an appearance.
Yes, I didn't know it was premiering, so I literally caught the last 5 minutes of it. So I'll have to watch the whole proper thing tomorrow from the beginning.
Oh no, I was blown away by how many people took part.
Doctor gonna mess with him now. She wants to be proper ladylike.
Yes, Gobby guy. I can't say that's actually happened to me. That's probably the only thing they haven't done. Yeah, but I don't know. At least it's something to keep you entertained. Oh wait, no, it's them. Never mind. I can only imagine what they've been signing you up to. Jesus Christ.
Don't do it.
I think the experience for watching this too is when I watched them at that point, PBS Detroit, which is what we got in our area at the time, did them in omnibus form. So I didn't watch these as episodes. I watched it as one movie, which made it even more of an experience.
I've seen both over the years.
So what do you think's better, having it as one movie or separate stories, considering you've watched it both ways then?
I liked it individual episodes.
This one I actually liked as just one continuous story because it is so just odd and it just sucks you in. And the whole time I think why this is so creepy is, again, you have no idea what's going on.
The first ones I ever saw was like on an independent channel, like out of New York, like WOR. And it was had a voiceover with some American dude like adding like a commentary to what was coming up, and
I've seen those
intros and outros with it.
Actually, for the longest time, here we had the Brain of Morbius with that commentary because it was the only version available in North America for some reason. But yeah, I remember those commentaries. I think they had them on some of the early VHS releases too.
Howard Da Silva was the guy's name who did the.
No, I remember those because they thought I think they were actually done by PBS because they thought Americans were. I guess being pompous, they're like, "Oh, Americans are too stupid to be able to follow this. We have to like remind them." Like, no, but yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
See, I got lucky in the late '80s, early '90s. I had three sources for Classic Who. I had PBS Detroit, TV Ontario out of Toronto, and YTV also out of Toronto. So I had Omnibus Doctor Who on the weekends, the newer stories at 7:30 on TV Ontario. Monday to Friday, we had them at 4:30 and 2:00 in the morning. On a separate channel, we actually had the French version.
You said that, I remember.
Oh yeah, no, it's and I could speak French, so I would also watch because they play different stories in French, so I'd watch the French ones. Somewhere I have VHS tapes with French Doctor Who.
Okay, so so was it like a French person speaking, or how did they do it then?
Oh no, it was overdubbed.
Oh, I was going to say because I've always a bit intrigued how they do that sometimes.
And I think the French versions were actually overdubbed in Canada.
Well, after I couldn't find it anymore on that independent station, I realized that PBS stations were carrying it in my areas, and State College, Pennsylvania, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, were for a long time were supporters of it and showed it for a long time. That's how I was able to keep up with it back in the day.
Well, that's why we luckily managed to recover episodes because of international providers, wasn't it? That's why we've got a lot of these because the BBC were idiots and burnt them, so they had to go abroad to get copies.
Yep, and you have PBS and TV Ontario to thank for the fact that there's a complete Pertwee run. Because it was actually decimated worse than Troughton and Hartnell in BBC land, which is kind of dumb because they were only a few years old, but one not ask questions. But yes, so you're welcome from this side of the pond.
That's how I first saw Red Dwarf too, and PBS and Monty Python stuff and.
Oh, Red Dwarf always reminds me of Doctor Who because PBS would play Red Dwarf at 11 o'clock and Doctor Who at 11:30. So that's how I got into Red Dwarf. It was around the time this season was playing. It was 1990. So I just remember watching Red Dwarf as my lead-in for Doctor Who. So that to me, because of that, the two shows always kind of go together.
And also, it's like when Brits do sci-fi, it's so distinct, isn't it? As well,
Well, it used to be.
like it used to be, yeah.
Yes, it
In the
is.
good old days.
Well, no, 70s British sci-fi is unmatched. And it's even, less known shows like Sapphire and Steel, which started in the 70s and then into the early 80s. Survivors, The Omega Factor,
Yeah.
shows like that, all classic 70s TV.
Yeah, I have all the Survivors. The original.
Yeah. I haven't watched the remake, although the original Survivors, your good one is the first or the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, there's only 3, right?
Yeah, and the third one, I don't even think there were any original characters left by the end. The third one kind of drops off, but the first 2 are brilliant.
Yeah. Another Terry Nation.
Yep. And then there's Blake 7, which I still haven't watched because they still haven't put out in Region 1. Although I've decided I'm just going to get myself a cheap Region 3 Blu-ray or a region-free Blu-ray player and just import the or DVD player, just import the UK set because I've been waiting for like 16 years and if it's not coming out.
I have them all through Nefarious.
See, that's the thing with me because I'm a collector and like I have 2 rooms in my house packed with DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm like, I want the physical copy. I hate watching quote Nefarious.
I have it on external hard drive, all 4 seasons, but that's how I could get it at the time. So.
Well, there's a lot of until I stopped watching BBC stuff around 2015. I've got tons of stuff that was never available here. I used to be addicted to also Dispatches and Panorama until they went woke. But I've got like must be a decade worth of both of those shows.
The old manipulator doctor, psychologist doctor.
Kind of a psychopathic doctor.
Oh yeah, when Sylvester could have his moments. Because in his accent always was a lot stronger the younger he got. So it was like when he was proper shouting at somebody, it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand back."
And they actually went back and forth as to whether or not McCoy was going to use just an English accent or his Scottish accent because he can actually do the English accent, but they're like, no, for this doctor, the Scottish is going to work. And then when he became the Dark Doctor, the Scottish really worked.
Well, it's because McCoy like growls. There's no other word for it, is it? Like even when he's not, it's not just his accent; it's the way he speaks.
He's the only Big Finish doctor that wasn't completely portrayed differently throughout the course of the runs. McCoy, because his voice was so distinctive to this day, or well, at least a year ago, still plays it exactly as he did on TV.
God's a Ragnarok.
That's what I love about his Doctor moments, though, because he'll also do that with people he likes. Like he'll roll his R's and he'll have that sort of growl a bit when he likes somebody. So it's like which
dialects of the grubby little protuberance. I can't do it.
Oh, he'll do it with Ace though when he's like having a joke with her. Sometimes he'll roll his R's and he'll have a bit of a growl. So it's like a date. It's almost like a dial with him. The younger he gets, the more like animalistic almost it gets, and the more scary it gets.
I can't do it, but unlimited rice pudding. I've never been able to look at rice
I was
pudding
just
the
thinking
same way
about
again.
that.
I got a Canadian accent. We couldn't roll our R's if our life depended on it.
Oh, it's a skill. Rolling your R's. It's very hard to do.
Your arse. That dude's got like Pertwee hair almost. The bouffant.
It's a nice bit of bouffon.
Yeah. Grabs her face now.
Yeah.
So many things in this episode would never be allowed now.
Oh God, no.
Like she's been grabbed, she's been pushed, she's had her face grabbed, she's had her hair pulled.
Chick fight. Mr. Gold Shoulder Pads is back. Num 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 num. Cream of Scotland Yard.
So I like Asa in this outfit. She does suit it, and it's like the thing is it doesn't look out like it's something she would wear. It's not like they're just doing it so they can like not have a woman dressed like in a period costume. It suits Ace. She probably wouldn't wear a dress. She would wear like the sort of tuxedo I guess up she's got on right now.
scumbag. She's evolved a lot quickly.
Oh yeah, she was like this creature thing that couldn't even speak English, and now she's like a proper little lady, isn't she?
It's Eliza Doolittle.
I was going to say it's very. What's that film? My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
Yeah, I remember that she was one of the characters that just so confused me. Because I was just like, what? She was like this, like you said, this weird creature thing, and now she's like, what? It was just like.
Yeah, big change quickly.
And I remember thinking, like, why does she hate the guy? Like, and why are the enemies? I was just like, what on earth?
Well, they were all part of a survey team to catalog life on Earth. And
Yeah, I didn't get that when I first watched it. So I was just like, where does this random woman come from? And why is she acting like this?
He's always doing the hat thing.
Yep, he always tips his hat. Even to like random creatures, which I find funny. Just like I can sort of understand if it was to people. But to like random aliens, he was doing that in Survival last week. He kept it like 4 or 5 times. Just a load of things just running around, and I was just like, why are you doing it to random cheater people?
Well.
Sharon Deuce.
Right, so if everybody in the chat would like to give their rating for this week's story, please do while we go around the panel.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Mr. Passive Aggressive, Alpha Omega. So go on, give us one of your brainstorming brilliant reviews. So what would you...
Oh, take a bit of offense for that.
Good man.
Yeah, that's like I said before. The first time I saw this, it didn't make much sense, but on several other watchings, it makes more sense about how that was a survey team sent down to take. Hello.
Yeah, go
ahead. To catalog life and stuff on there, and I like how they're Sylvester is like going back through all these, trying to work with Ace and get her to face her demons and stuff. And it's a pretty good story for the most part. It's pretty well acted. Nice set, like we talked about with the how they do good period pieces with the BBC, and this is a good example of that. And I'll give this one an 8 out of 10.
Fantastic, Queen Charlotte.
I think, yes, I do agree. I think this is one of those episodes when you do have to watch it multiple times. It has a lot going on for it. I think the setting is brilliant, like the atmosphere. I think it actually suits Sylvester's Doctor. I really do like the Ace, sort of how you see her unravel in this story and her go through so many different emotions. You sort of see scared Ace, you see brave Ace, you see confused Ace. She goes the gambit, and I think it shows Sophie's skill as well. So I really love the A stuff, but I've got to be fair, and I do think this is almost at times a bit too of a hard. How do I word this? It's like it's too much of a solid story in the sense that there's so much going on, and I do think sometimes you do need to make it a little bit easier, but not make it too simplified. So it's a hard balance, and for me personally, this goes a bit too far the other way. That you have to
A bit
really
much to take in.
Yeah, it's a bit much. There we go, Alpha. It's a lot to take in, and I think personally, on a first watch, you should be able to get most of the story, and then when you do multiple watches, then if you get extra details, that's brilliant. But you should, by the first watch, get your basic story, and I think this is sort of a hard one for that. But it's not a bad story. It's not like a Delta. It's not like something that you just know is a terrible story. So I'll give it a 7. Because there's a lot of good in this, but I'm going to have to just knock some points off because, especially when I first watched it, I was just confused.
Fantastic. Real super, Doctor.
I think it's a good watch. I think it's an interesting story from a standard point of view that it's telling some kind of story about an extraterrestrial power that is controlling all the members of the household and all that, and you know it's something to do with a creation in the past, and I think that this story is complicated, but as you kind of watch it over and over again, you begin to understand it and you understand the characters. But for me, I think I would give it about a 7 out of 10.
Fantastic. Ballstrack.
Hello, everyone. And just before I go ahead, I've dropped a link to a thing in the chat. It's a Twitter account. I'll talk more about this later, but see if you can figure out what's going on here. That's all I'm saying about that for now. So I am going to give this a 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5. No, screw it. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 because it's season 26. You don't know what's going on, but I don't care. I love Sapphire and Steel. And this is very Sapphire and Steel, where the fun of Sapphire and Steel is after decades of watching that show, I have no idea what's going on in any episode. I think the atmosphere is absolutely, I love the atmosphere of the story. I think in terms of atmosphere, this is probably my favorite Doctor Who story. So 10 out of 10. I desperately wish that this season had been, or we got the next season, because I would have loved to have seen where it went. We do have what was season 27 on Big Finish. I don't even think I have that on my computer. I think they're still on my Big Finish account because it's been so long since I've downloaded those. I don't even think I have them. So I got to go back to my Big Finish account, re-download those, and I'm going to give them another listen because watching this has made me want to revisit this era again.
Fantastic. We got someone waiting in the studio, folks, fashionably late. Ballstrack, do us a favor though. See that link that you posted in the chat?
Yeah.
Could you post it in the private chat as well so I can check it out? We'll only look if it's in the private chat. So if you throw it in the private chat there for me, I can check it out. But let's bring him on because obviously, you know, we all came together as a fandom because one of our own was attacked. And
Drum roll.
And, you know, all of these, you think after that people would have learned their lessons, but clearly not because there's still attacks going on with other people. I discovered that someone is with 95 subscribers that gets 1 view per video is now trying to come after me, which I find quite funny, to be quite honest with you. But it looks like it's not it's not getting any better. So I think the video that Gobby Guy posted up earlier on is quite relevant to what's happening in the fandom. So everybody got together and did their little clips, sent them along. Gobby then obviously edited the video together. But there was one particular video that featured, which was absolutely, I don't think anybody will actually disagree with me, but it was mind blowing. And it was, of course, it was from Lee. So if you haven't checked out the video, it's on Gobby Guy's channel. I did put the link to his channel in the live chat. Go and check it out. I don't know what the story is. Are we posting that on our channels as well to get it? I don't know what the story is there. Let us know. But let's bring on the guy who created the video, and obviously Queen Charlotte came up with the dialogue, and I think the man himself should tell you. By the way, as someone said in the chat earlier on, does an amazing doctor. It's the one and only Problem Big.
Flippity gibbets.
Now to be known as the doctor.
So yeah,
Morning.
Change your name now to the doctor. Get rid of that Problem Big stuff now and become the doctor now. But again, as usual, you knocked it out of the park. But for people on the channel that don't know what the hell I'm actually talking about, do you want to let people know what we're actually talking about?
Sure. Well, obviously, we all know the situation that happened with Melina, and that it was just another example of how over the top people get online, and that they really seem to lose their humanity the more they stick at it. And it's something that I kind of gradually come around to, that it's a never-ending battle, and it really shouldn't have to be one. You know, it's over opinions, and I can't square that circle any longer. I think it's a battle no one seems to want to get to grips with, and one that no one seems to win. So it's just an ongoing, it's like a time war. Yeah, and Gobby Guy came up with a brilliant idea to do a little collection of videos of people showing their support for Melina. And as much as we love Melina to bits, and we want her back and being her effervescent self and being free to do so without repercussion, it also stands for, as Gobby rightly says, you know, everyone who's been bullied. And I've been bullied all my life, you know, from school right through to, you know, the state, and all sorts. You know, when I was caring for my grandmother, I, you know, suffered a lot of nonsense from the powers that be. But I know a bully when I see one. And it's funny when you sort of defend others for, you know, against this kind of stuff, that you get accused of bullying them. It's like, this is sheer gaslighting, right? It's got to stop. But he came up with this idea for this video, and so many wonderful people. It was so good to watch so many wonderful friends and friends of Melina, and you know, our shared little community coming together and putting their time and effort into this, and Gobby stitched it together wonderfully. It's a beautiful little video, and I'm very proud to be associated with it. I'm very pleased with it, and Melina, I'm sure, will be bowled over. I don't know if she's seen it yet. You can probably tell from my voice that I've been up a lot. It's very deep now, and it nearly finished me off, but it was worth it. Everyone did a fantastic job, and well done, Gobby, for making this come true. And I hope I did Charlotte proud, and I'm.
You did so much. You did so much. It was.
Yeah.
It was because you made me laugh, because beforehand you were like, I want to make you proud, and I knew you'd do a good job.
Yeah.
But to actually hear it, and I loved the little bits you added, because I wrote the core speech, but you added stuff at the beginning and at the end, which I loved. And it was because you sent it to me this morning, and I was just absolutely taken back.
I think we expect more 20-minute little episodes now, Lee. So now that you've done this for Melina, now you have to branch out and do a spin-off now and do 20-minute.
I can't write that.
Episodes with your own dialogue and do little adventures.
Well, maybe.
What do you mean? Maybe you do it, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Hands up, press 1 in the chat if you just want to see Lee do what I just said there. Everybody and everybody on the panel would just love to see Lee do that.
Yes.
Yes, you'd be a very good doctor.
Absolutely.
It was very good, man. It was very good.
It was awesome, man. At first, I didn't even know. I'm like, is that Lee? Oh, damn, that's Lee.
Yeah,
no, man, it was brilliant, amazingly written, Charlotte, and brilliantly performed, Lee, and visuals are awesome as well. It's just I know this almost killed you because I know we were chatting at the time. But you need to stretch this out to about an hour and a half special.
We need to do another one, man. It was very engaging. It was, though. That was the thing. I was sitting there and I was actually watching when it came to your video. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to actually say to everybody that did take part, well done to you all for making the effort. Some of you came up with some very clever ways of doing it as well, which was
the
great.
Keep Britain tidy one.
When you came to Lee's one, I think Lee's one just was just brilliant. It was really good. I have to say. I
was up until Paul Gobby guy. I was like, okay, I'm sending you the link. I'm sending you the link, and then I'd notice something wrong with it, so I'd have to say, no, not that way. Third time lucky, no. Just
the Gobby guy, I know how that feels. I remember when he was doing the TARDIS titles. I think it was 4 different versions he sent me until he was happy. He's a stickler for that. Have to be honest, but when you get the final one that he's happy with, and like everyone that he sends me say, yeah, Lee, that's great. Like, I think that's perfect. And then he go, nah, I don't like such and such. And then
listen, there are so many things even now I'm not happy with. Right? If I had more time.
Well, that's why you should do another one. That's why you should do another one. That's the exact reason why. And then you should actually expand on the dialogue and make it into a little story. You could just tell a story. You don't even have to get out of the TARDIS, or I'll just tell a little story while you're in the TARDIS. With the voiceover like you did.
It's only so much you can do without coming across as a schizophrenic or something.
I
I'm on my own talking to myself.
I love that though, because you added like, oh no, and then the stuff like that, and it.
Yeah, that was very good. You could hear him running around the TARDIS. Yeah. It was very well put together. Yeah. I have to say, I'd watch another one. I did
a lot of the. Thankfully, I had a lot of sound design stuff for the TARDIS that I created months ago. So that was sitting there doing nothing. So I was like, well, that saved me a lot of time.
Well, everybody thinks you should do it anyway. So it's no pressure, but you better do it.
Lee, me and you can knock our heads together at some point.
You've got plenty of time. Do it as a Christmas special, something that everybody can watch Christmas Day when they get up. Christmas
that's
morning.
A good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little Christmassy one. You could even plan it now. right?
Yeah.
And then on the 25th of December, they schedule it when you're happy with it, and I'll throw it up, and then everybody gets up Christmas. Then whack it on, and there you go, done. Telling you.
This is all. Oh, well, we'll see.
Well, you know me on the ideas, man. So do it, do it.
But I mean, let's not forget that the reason that we did this was
Yeah,
our
and
love for
that's brilliant.
Armelina and
And that was a great job, but now there's an opportunity for a spin-off that everybody wants Christmas morning. You know, so like, do it. As Daniel said, do it. He said he's watched it 15 times already. What more do you want, man? People are telling you that they'll watch it. Do it. That's what we're gonna put up on the screen from now on.
well, I'll have to cast a companion.
Yeah, you'll have to
And
cast
some villains or something.
I think
Maybe we can get
we
Mr.
already know
TARDIS
who
to
your
be
companion should
a villain.
I know who should be your companion.
Go on.
Queen Charlotte should be your companion.
I thought so.
And if you
I
want,
can't
I
record
thought the same
audio.
thing.
That's the thing. I can't record out. That's why I wanted Lee to do it, because I can do streams, but that's about it.
what kind of villain are you looking for?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's such a wonderful choice. I mean, I think we should go with a completely new villain. I think, that's the thing with Doctor Who. Should be
Wait,
Oh, for
that's
God's sake, who's your villain? Come on, we don't need a big bleeding drawn out. Yeah, this is what we should do.
Oh,
Who's your
this
villain?
started as a
If it's
one-off
not
speech.
me, if
This
it's not
started off
me,
as one-off
I'm not
speech.
endorsing
I
this.
shouldn't
at
come
all.
on, should I?
If it's not me, I'm not endorsing it, and I'm out. I'm out.
Well,
I'm out.
passive
I have to be
aggressive
the
villain.
Right?
You can call me Mr.
Alpha
McTroley.
nerd.
Mr. McTroley. I'm only messing. But you should do it, or you should consider it. Anyway, you should consider doing something, because that was very good. And again, everybody that took part and did their own little thing for the video, well done to you all. Thanks for coming together for a quite serious situation. And let's not forget, we can all have fun and games and laugh and stuff, but this was a serious situation, and it could have went a different way, but thankfully it didn't. And Melina has been around, and she's been on streams and since then, so it's great to see her come on. She'll ease herself back in. Obviously, she hasn't been here today. Hopefully she'll be here for Rick and Morty, which we do on Tuesdays.
There you go. Gobby Guy says he'd do a part. So maybe we can do we can make a unit character for Gobby.
Yeah, considering he was military, yeah, that would actually be good. Get him to be the new brigadier.
Oh no, I was going to say like a relative of the brig.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Relative of the
Or a
brig.
Time Lord.
And then I could come in as a mad psychopath that just wants to kill you all of you, right? And the only reason why I want to kill you all is because you all annoy me. That's it. That's my story arc right there. I just can't stand the Doctor and his companions, and I just want them gone.
Noel is the master.
And you all have to try defeat me, but you won't. I
I
want
don't
to
think
win.
Teddy likes that dude. He's telling you off in the background.
I know he is, yeah. I want to win, by the way. This is the story where the Doctor has to lose.
No,
and his
you're not
companions
winning.
have to
You're
lose,
not winning.
right?
No.
And then you do a second part where you defeat me. Right, that's the whole point. You build it up. I defeat the Doctor, and then the Doctor comes back and gets his revenge. You can do the whole time Lord victorious. You can go
I just love how people are making these decisions.
I know.
Like, look,
I know, Lee, isn't it
off you
fun?
go, make all this stuff that takes weeks and weeks and weeks, and do it like a
well,
couple
listen,
of weeks.
it's at least you've got a community here that's buzzing with ideas, man. This is what
He's got other
this is
stuff
what
to
it's
do.
all
first.
about.
Yeah, I got
At
alpha.
the end of the day, you're the creator, so all final decisions and creative choices will be made by you. But there's no harm in taking some suggestions. That's all we're just saying here. No pressure. We want to by Christmas Day. So we'll leave it there. But Lee, again, no, seriously, well done. That was absolutely fantastic. And Gobby Guy,
I've yet to see
brilliant idea.
if
Brilliant
Melina's
idea.
seen it yet or not. So I don't know. Has anyone found out if she's watched it yet?
No,
or-
I think it's just been on Gobby's, like literally before we went live.
Yeah, what's the story?
I'll message her. I'll message her
your
when we
channels as discussed, or is that we just leave it on Gobby's channel and shared in his link? I just need to know. That's all.
I think because Gobby's done the work, leave it on his channel. But I'll probably upload my segment on my alternative channel just so it's there in isolation. So if anyone wants to,
Well, that's it. I think a few other channels put their own little versions
Yeah,
of
I
their
agree.
channel as well, which is
Yeah, I think that's fair. Keep the whole thing on Gobby's because it was his idea to do it as a community. Keep it all together on his, and then if people want to put their own sections on the channels, I think that's fair.
well, there you go. Gobby's just said if you want, I will send videos if you want them. So
yeah,
talk
if
to
you
Gobby
want.
about it.
No, we leave it. We leave it. Lee has a point, but just that means everybody go into Gobby Guy's channel though and share the crap out of it, okay? And I've already looked at it, and the like and dislike. 6 people have disliked it, but you know.
Well, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's they're just sad, lonely.
I know.
people.
I mean, look, if you're going to dislike a video on a real serious topic, which was, you know, the situation on Twitter and social media, the bullying, harassment that goes on, and how that
Well, it just proves our point, doesn't it?
Exactly, it does, but it's sad. It's sad because everybody that
they
was
probably didn't even watch it. That's the thing.
see
as well.
No, they wouldn't have.
Oh no, they just saw the title and.
Oh no, they saw the title.
Oh, I like
and
the music.
liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. The first one that Gobby used, I didn't know he was going to use that because it was distorting like fuck. So I was like, oh god, I've got to redo it. I had to remix it basically, and then I actually added some bits, and that's what the version you hear at the very end. And that I was still working on that this morning.
Yeah, no, we'll just leave it, Gobby. We'll do what everybody says. It's obviously you put the whole thing together. They have a point. So what we'll do is we'll just keep sharing it. So I'll share it every day. That's the best I can do, and share it in groups and stuff like that. And I ask everybody else to do the same as well. Remember, this doesn't just affect people like Melina. It's affected us all. We've all had to deal with some sort of abuse on social media, and it does affect everybody's mental health. Nobody is immune from this. We've seen it, especially over the last 5 years, that it's become a real issue. But again, we keep saying the same things over and over every year, you know, and social media still doesn't take the responsibility that they need to take in situations like this. Nobody should be bullied or harassed over an opinion. I don't know what kind of society we live in when that seems to be the normal thing to do now. It doesn't matter what the topic is. If you have an opposing opinion to someone else, automatically you're labelled, and you know yourself. I just don't get. I don't know how we got here. I don't want to get into a big whole thing about it, but I just don't know how we got here. It's absolutely ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Where everybody has different opinions. If we all start thinking the same, it'd be a very boring world. And I think that's what they want, because they're boring people with no personalities. Unfortunately, all these brainwashed people, as I would call them, they haven't got a clue what life is actually all about. They've been spoon fed all of this rubbish, and it'll be their downfall. It'll be their downfall, because when they have to go out there in the big bad world, they will find that it's hard, and they've been fed a lot of bull. And I feel, well, I used to feel sorry for them, but now I don't really feel that sorry for them, because these are the same fuckers that are going to be looking after us when we get old. And that worries me. That worries me. But
I think what everybody needs to do when you watch the video, make sure that you put a like, so we can upvote these pieces of shit.
It doesn't matter anyway.
9 dislikes now. 9. Just to say, it's sad. very sad.
See, that's probably the same group of people that
It
dislike
will
my
be.
It's probably
videos
sock
and
puppet
dislike
accounts as
the other
well.
videos across the platform because they've nothing better to do. They have to give it that dislike. Like, they can't just leave it, even if they don't agree with what the video is all about. The fact that they'll go out of their way, not even watch the video and hit that dislike button, just shows you how sad they actually are. And, you know, I'm kind of gone past reacting to that sort of shit now. Even on Twitter, as you have seen, I haven't been on Twitter that much over the last couple of days. I just don't really give a shit anymore, to be quite honest. Which you let them rot in their own little world.
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do, if that's how they want to carry on, that's fine. Let them do whatever they want. Eventually, people will get pissed off with them, and eventually, you know, people will turn on them. We just do what we do, right? Which is, you know, we talk about Doctor Who, we talk about other stuff, and then when Series 13 comes along, we'll review it. And again, we'll get undue attention, but I don't really give a shit. That's what we do. And then when the new era begins, then I'll be doing the same all over again. These people are not going to stop me from having my opinions on Doctor Who. They never will, and that's just the bottom line. I don't really give a shit what they say anymore. Let them. They're trying to create so much drama because they know now they're not being listened to anymore. So I think if we just stop reacting to them, and that's what I've been doing now, just stop reacting to them now. From now on, I'm just done with them. So let them. A few accounts on Twitter have tried to.
Yeah, I ended up blocking a few the other day.
Got rid of them as well. I'm just done. I just blocked them. I'm just done with everything now. Even comments on my YouTube channel, people trying to store it up, they're gone. You know, I'm not going to tolerate that shit either. You know what I mean? So I'm done. I'm done with it all. I just want to be able to come on here and have chats with you guys, and have a bit of fun as well in the meantime.
Yeah. That's what it's about. That's what it should always have been about.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't care what these people think of me or say about me anymore. At the end of the day, they can have their opinions about me. I don't really give a shit what they think anymore. Why should I get worried about what anybody says about me anymore? At this stage, it's been 5 years of this shit I've gotten. So I've gotten used to it. So, you know, shouldn't have to be used to it, but I have gotten used to it. So I'm done. I'm done. I don't need it. I don't need to let the little twonks do whatever they want. Sick of them all. Sick of them all. Every single one of them.
Yep, I'm done.
And that's it. We should just stop reacting to them. Stop listening to what they're fucking saying. You know, then that way, then we're not getting hyped up and we're not getting, you know, annoyed.
Not getting drawn into it all.
Exactly. I don't want to be getting drawn and people posting up stuff about this person. I don't give a shit what they said. Let them say what they want. They're not interfering with me. You know, they're not bringing my name into it. They don't bring my name into it. I don't give a shit. Right? So, you know, I don't care what certain people post on Twitter. Let them post whatever fucking conspiracy theory, fucking whatever fucking thing you come up with. Doctor Who, why ratings and all of this are down and all of this other rubbish. Let them do it. I don't really give a shit what they say. Right, we know the facts. We've been covering it long enough on this channel. Right, we know how bad Doctor Who has actually gotten. If they want to spin it, that was this great era. Let them. At the end of the day, it's already been
better than ever, man.
It's already been proven that it's not anyway. So let them. If they want to still con themselves, they still want to get upset. And you know, watch when the casting happens, and if he does cast a man. Sure, wait until you see the uproar again that you're gonna get from them. They're just gonna never be happy. So just let them react. There's no point of us even reacting to them reacting. Let them react. Let them have their reaction. If some of them decide to walk away, let them walk away. They're not needed. They cause nothing but pain and trouble for a lot of people in this fandom. And a lot of people have suffered the last 5 years. Friends I've seen attacked on a weekly basis, a daily basis, and then only recently someone on this panel, which I won't mention names on the panel, but someone on this panel was recently attacked a hit piece done on them, basically a live stream done on them, and it was bang out of order. That actually disgusted me. That's where I knew, right, and I knew fandom was already fucked. But when that happened, when that stream happened, and I heard what was being said, and the way people were reacting in the chat, anybody that was defending this person was being hounded on, right? I went in and I left a comment, and then the first comment that came back to me was, "Oh, your wife deserved it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Right now, I won't mention the person on the panel that was attacked because you know it was a character assassination, right? But this shit needs to stop.
Well,
It needs to stop.
it's the reason why I'll be making my official announcement at the end of the stream. Or no, was the final thing that made me make the decision I've been debating for about a year.
Right. So, what, Ed? Are you making the announcement on this stream, or are you making it on your own stream?
No, I might as well make it here. I'm just going to share
right.
my.
Well, Ballstrek has an announcement to make, folks. So pay attention, everybody.
Okay.
So
I'm going to share my screen here as well. Okay, so you should have the screen share, Noel.
okay, hold on. There we go. Okay.
So I don't know if you've seen the links for this, but I've been debating this for a long time. And frankly, I'm miserable covering the stuff that I've been covering. I've just, the whole thing has just sucked. And as you know, I had left earlier this year. Hadn't intended to come back. I came back, and it's just miserable. I was so much happier when I wasn't covering this shit. So I'm going to make a change. I am going to go back to covering stuff that I actually enjoy. So I'm going to keep the Bulls Trek name for this fall. I'm going to continue. I'm going to cover Series 13 as I said I would. Then at the end of the year, the Bulls Trek name and brand is being retired permanently. Because to be honest, it's not fun anymore. It's making me miserable, and there are better things to life than being involved in this constant shit show. I haven't decided what I'm going to do going forward. I am going to continue on a much more less present existence on YouTube. I may still occasionally cover the stuff that I've been covering, but I want to go to cover things that I want. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do a full rebrand of the actual channel currently known as Bulls Trek or just retire it, or if I'm going to just rebrand what was my second channel, currently known as Bulls Trek Media, as my new persona. So I am no longer Bulls Trek, aside from unofficially for the remaining videos. My YouTube channel or my Twitter channel is, I've decided I'm not going to close it because it's 14 years old and I've got, lots of stuff that I want to keep up there per posterity, but that's being locked at the end of the year. Won't be used again. Going forward, I will be Chris from Cultivated Media, which is a name that I came up with a while ago. And if you look at the Twitter account, which I finally set up a week ago, you'll see it's quite different from what I cover. It's horror centered because horror is something that I actually like doing. So this is mainly going to be what I cover. So if you want to still follow me, this will be my main Twitter account. I may just stop using the Bulls Trek account altogether, other than just posting links to videos. But if you want to chat with me, I will follow everybody that follows me on this account, because this one may also end up being locked, just because I don't want to discuss things with that group anymore. I'm just, they have nothing to say. I've been fighting with them for 4 years and I'm just done. So the good news is I'm not leaving. good news and bad news, depending on how you look at it, is after 14 years, over 14 years, the Bulls Trek brand is done at the end of September, but I will continue. I'm going to talk to, I've actually been talking to people, large YouTubers and small YouTubers and friends of mine as to what I should do. As to whether it's even worth rebranding the main channel or just retiring it and making it an archived account, that I will probably come to a decision in a few months. But something had to change.
I think you should rebrand. I think you should build it up slowly. But I think you should just rebrand the channel, because remember, you've got a lot of subscribers there that have been with you from day one. You know, when you did your early reviews and other videos and stuff.
That's the only reason I'm torn. If it was just the past 4 years, I would be retiring it completely. But yes, I do have some subs that have actually been with me for 14 years.
Exactly. You know, I think a rebrand, and I don't think it would harm your channel at all, to be quite honest with you. You're a popular person on YouTube. I reckon if you build it up and you come up with a new logo or something, and you know, just get it ready, and then just let people know on the channel, build it up when you're doing videos, just let people
Well, right
know.
now there is no logo right now. I just have a picture of Freddy. But somebody,
We're in talks.
yes, somebody who shall remain nameless has volunteered to redesign the logo. But yeah, so
I think you should rebrand. I honestly don't think you should throw your YouTube channel. You're not throwing your YouTube channel away, but you know what I mean. You've put a lot of hard work in that.
I think the one thing that I want to make clear is this is something that I came up with actually a year ago. Is when I came up with my new channel name, and I'd been debating back and forth. I debated leaving YouTube, but as people say, Bulls Trek, I now go by Chris. Chris got attacked, so he ran away. No, this is something I've been considering for a year. It was I'd had a bad taste in my mouth for what I've been doing for a long time, and it was the events of last Sunday, it was the last straw. It was what convinced me to go ahead and do this, and I've been thinking about it. Well, this is 6 days now. Each day, I'm more convinced that this is the right decision. So Bulls Trek will no longer be on Noel's streams, but Chris from Cultivated Media will be. So that is the new me. So as I would say, follow me on Twitter. I'd encourage everybody to follow me on here. I will follow anybody that follows me, because if I decide to lock this account, because the shit fuckers show up, that's what we'll have to do. And if you're looking to DM me, I will be checking this account more often. I'm actually on my smartphone. I'm switching because I can only use one Twitter account in my app. I'm actually going to be switching it over to this account. So if you want to get a hold of me, follow me on Cultivated Media. Right now I've got, I think, 17 followers.
I was the first. Woo.
Somebody oh no, okay, who do we got? Oh, my first follower, I don't know. Oh wait, no, Card Witching. Okay, sorry, I'll follow you. I've got the TARDIS Zone. I've got Super Doc, Gobby Guy. I don't know Carol, somebody who actually followed me from some posts I made. So I'm going to follow Carol. I've got Sean. I've got Bradley. I've got Bond Aston Martin. I've got Dan. I've got Not My Fandom, Mega Geek, Roundels. I've got Rabbi. I've got Mike, Thin King, and whoever this person is.
I have no idea.
And just for celebrating, because I actually thought this was kind of cool. So as you all know, I've often talked about Scream Factory as being my favorite distributor and stuff. So I put up a tweet earlier this week. Where the hell was it? It was down. Wasn't that one? This one. So I put up this tweet. It's about Deadly Friend, which is a Wes Craven movie that nobody's ever heard of that's coming out. So I just tweeted this, and I actually got a like from Scream Factory.
Hey.
So there you go.
That's good.
So that's the end of my rambling. So follow me at this new account. Everybody that I'll drop it in the I'll drop it in the chat one more time. Actually, I've got to reopen it. Actually, I'm going to change my screen here. Stop sharing. So yeah, so that is the new me. So I'm going to drop it again down here.
I like the name actually, Cultivated
No, I
Media.
do. It's a good name.
Mm.
I was high when I came up with it.
Some of the best ideas I've
I did something with cult. It's a cult thing. And I'm cultivating. Oh, cultivated.
Brilliant.
So, yes. So this will be my sign off. So I am no longer Bullstruck. I'm now Chris from Cultivated Media. Follow me on my new Twitter account. Follow me on YouTube, which till the end of the year will still be known as Bullstruck. And then rebranded, either that or new channel. I am now leaning towards rebranding my my long-term channel. But yes, so this was a very rambling announcement. I wasn't going to bother making it on my own channel because I don't think I'm going to be doing any live streams on that channel, possibly again ever. So I'm like, Noel's one of my best friends. You know, a lot of my best friends are here. So I'm like, you know, what better place to announce this than on my second home, which is the TARDIS Zone.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you do on your rebranded channel.
It's Noel. I'm actually going to be discussing things I like.
Good.
I've got a series of horror videos. There are going to be movie reviews on there. The Doctor Who content in a much reduced form will continue. There'll probably be reviews of the specials. That might be it. I might just lump everything into one long video.
You should do watch-alongs as well, horror movie watch-alongs. Do B-movie
we've still got to watch along Mandy.
Yeah, we have to do that one. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it?
What happened to the duck thing?
Oh yes, Howard the Duck.
Oh, the duck.
Howard the Duck.
Oh no, we can discuss Howard. I may bring that back, but yes, I'm taking it. I'm taking advice.
You guys, he wasn't going to bring up Howard the Duck. He was talking horror, for God's sake. What are you doing?
Hello.
Have you seen that movie? It is the horror.
It's horror focused, Noel, but we can talk about other things. And yes, I would. And this was actually advice that I got a long time ago from the Critical Drinker. When I was telling him I was being miserable, I'm like, well, dude, why don't you do what I do and, you know, mix it up? I'm like, yeah. So I'm going to mix it up. But I am actually excited about this change. And for the first time in probably 2 years, because Noel has been hearing me since about January 2020, so almost 2 years. Noel, how many times have I talked about privately wanting to leave YouTube in the past 2 years?
Oh yeah, good.
It's been nonstop.
So now it has, but I can understand it to a certain extent because you've been the thing that I've gotten from the conversations, which I don't think you'll mind me saying to people, is that it just hasn't been fun for you. You haven't enjoyed it like you did in the early years. And
one thing
you know, if it's not enjoyable, well, then you either need to do something about it or you just quit. And I know you wouldn't just leave because you're very loyal to people that have subscribed to you for the 14 years that you've been on. So a rebrand to me makes logical sense. And to be honest, it'll be nice to hear you actually talk about things that you're really enthusiastic about instead of like, you know, doing the reviews of shows that you absolutely hate, but you do them.
There will still be that if I'm continuing on YouTube, I'm kind of committed covering the show formerly known as Doctor Who, now known as shit, till its bitter end. But one thing I also wanted to bring up there, I will not be mentioning any names because even though I'm belligerent on Twitter, anybody that's seen my videos has known that I have never attacked anybody on my YouTube channel. I've only made one response video where I actually mentioned the name. That was almost 3 years ago, and I was actually respectful of them. I will be responding to the events of last week and some of the other things that have come up. I will not mention the people involved, but something has to be said because a lot of people have watched this and have decided that I am a certain way. So I'm going to clarify my arguments, and that's going to be it.
I was just shocked, mate. I mean, of all the things that's happened in the fandom, right? And a lot of shitty stuff has happened, right? And I've seen it, it's happened to me firsthand as well. But when I turned that on and I watched and I just seen the people that were on it, I was just like, how they could sink so low.
No,
is,
wasn't
where's
surprised.
their integrity is what I would say. And that was the big thing.
Well,
Where
it
are
was,
your integrity? You talk about like, giving someone a fair shake. Fair shake is
No,
bringing.
because they changed the
Oh,
name of
hold
that
on.
video
A fair
after.
shake is also bringing that person on to be able to defend the stuff that's being said against them. That opportunity wasn't forwarded to Chris. So, again, I'll say, where was the integrity? For certain people on that panel, I expected it.
Well, what I'll say, Noel, is two of them I expected it. Two of them I have no use for.
Exactly.
The other one I was pretty much shocked by. And yeah, although I have to thank like all the support that I got from everybody, large YouTubers. I have to thank Gary for backing me up on his channel. I've talked to Drinker, I've talked to I've talked to all sorts of people, and the support was absolutely overwhelming. You are awesome. You are all awesome, and it was I think the support that I got is what made me shift my decision, because at one point I was going to leave completely. I'm like, I'm going to leave at the end of the year, but I'm going to give myself a week to think it over. I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave, but I'm not going to do the same thing. So
the right decision.
Thank you, everyone.
The right decision.
Yeah, you got our full support.
And again, yeah, as I said, you mentioned some names there. I'm glad those people reached out to you. Actually, that's actually, when you said that to me, I was kind of like, well, fair play. I definitely knew Gary would.
Well, the individual who surprised me does want to have a private conversation to smooth things over, which I will probably have, but I don't ever see us being friends after this. I can see us being civil, but would you participate in a 4-hour attack video on someone? No, it's like, I'll hear you out. But
yeah, but the thing that baffled me was that it was brought to this person's attention also that, well, you should be careful who you're streaming with, because you're basically streaming with someone that supported someone that was bullying people in this fandom and was sending inappropriate messages to a young girl in this fandom, in you know who. And the cheek of them to have this person on the panel. Now, again, the two people that you're talking about, I expected it from, but I didn't expect it from the person that you're talking about. I've just seen them on streams as well, and I thought that person was a sensible one. But if you do participate in a stream like that, I would question your integrity.
And nobody here has ever done anything like that.
No,
it goes against, and believe me, there are several people here who shall remain nameless. One major one that we would love to stream about, and there actually is a lot of dirt, but we don't do things that way. Almost nobody on our side does it that way. We stick to the content, and that's what separates us from the other side, where we will argue opinions. We do get into it on Twitter, but not on our YouTube channels. Some won't address drama at all in any form, but we stick to arguing the points. The other side, it's proof that they have no argument
when they personally attack someone's character.
When they come down to this.
Yeah, when it boils down to that live stream, right? It's basically the no valid arguments against anything that you were saying. So what can we do? Oh, let's just call them names. Well, let's just say he's this. Let's just say he's that. And they can deny it all they want. And even you could see that they were trying to be clever and wording certain things a certain way so they wouldn't get into trouble with YouTube. So they even knew. And if you have to kind of think like that while you're doing the stream, well, of course you're doing wrong, and you know you're doing wrong. And that's the thing I'd say. No integrity whatsoever.
literally analyzing every word, even the syntax, in a 9-minute video. I've never seen that done before. And it was
and the
literally
video went on for 4 hours.
psychoanalyzing every word and the way I put things.
Yeah.
I'm like,
My point was, why didn't you ask him?
they did after they'd been bashing me for 3 hours.
After the fact. Yeah.
And everybody who was talking to me online and saw my tweets, at that point I had snapped. So there was no way I was going on at that point, because it would not have been a civilized conversation. It would have been me losing my shit. And I am not going to do that. So I'm like, no, if we do this, we're going to do it in a rational way. You're not going to bash me for 3 hours. Then I find out, because I must have gotten about 20 DMs saying, do you know what's going on? Then I went on. It was like 3 hours into the stream. I'm like, you fucking assholes.
Yeah. That's how low the fandom has gone, though. That people look, you expect it from certain people in this fandom when you don't, but when you see people on that you don't expect it from, it's a lot harder, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I mean, look, as you said yourself, you're going to kind of talk this out and you're going to respond to some of the stuff that was said. I would definitely respond. That cannot go without any sort of response video, because you can't go on a live stream for 4. It was actually 4 hours, Ballstrick, not 3, by the way.
Oh no,
I said 4 hour stream on a 9-minute video.
I mean, they had been streaming for about 2 or 3 hours by the time I found out about it.
Yeah,
and the only reason, and there was no invitations from them, because I think somebody on YouTube just stumbled on it. So I was doing my actual day job work at the time, or trying to catch up. And then I don't think I'd been on Twitter for about an hour, because I was actually having a good day. Like, it was a really good day. Then I looked at Twitter, I'm like, what's with the messages?
Yeah.
It's like, everybody, have you seen what's going on? And I lost and anybody who was in a chat with a few of us know exactly how badly I lost my shit that day. But it's, a week has gone by. I've calmed down, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not pleasant when you feel
it's not.
You have to be constantly on the defense of what you're saying, and it seems to me rather convenient that people seem to ignore context or intuit any sense of nuance in what you're actually saying, and I've seen some of the responses accusing you of racism and all this kind of stuff. They never seem to think that perhaps the real racists are in the BBC, who fetishize it, who pander to a particular set of beliefs and ideology that segregates everyone into race, and uses groups of people for their own selfish interests. And it does seem to me people who subscribe to this seem to have something to hide themselves. That's all I'll say.
I thought the funny part was that while they were on the video, they were making all of these assumptions about him, and then you were going, oh well, maybe he needs to clarify that and all of this.
Well,
they knew what they were doing.
I did
but this
clarify.
is the thing, they knew what they were doing was wrong, right? And that whole stream was wrong, right? As I said, I keep going back to it.
Let's be clear, no one needs to clarify anything.
I know that's
to mob rule.
Anyway, trying to police the fandom and police how people put a video together. Who gave them the moral authority to do this anyway? Themselves. I mean, who else are they going to target now? I heard actually they're going after Doomcock next.
This individual, who shall remain nameless, although he's one of the most disgusting individuals I've come across in 14 years on YouTube. The night before that stream, this individual tried going after Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers to try and start shit. I think I've sent you guys the tweet. Jeremy just trolled him and brushed him off. Then he did the stream about me last Sunday. I went dark on Twitter. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I've been dark on Twitter for a week. I haven't said anything. As I said, saying nothing is probably better than saying anything at this point. So they've had nothing to go off because I've been silent on social media until this stream, and now he's trying to go after Doomcock. So this individual has no creativity on their own. They rip off ideas for others, and they're only interested in creating drama. And they've created drama in the past. That's pretty much all this individual's channel is. So they're desperate to start drama with someone. I'm like, I'm going to give you a response. I'm not going to give you the credit. I'm not mentioning you by name. And then that's it.
Yeah, like you did the last time.
Yep. And look how well it worked out for that person.
Exactly. So, look, you know how to handle this. You know how to analyze the arguments. You know what to do, man. Just do like you did with the last video. You know, get straight to the point. And the fact that you have to even do this is baffling. But this cannot go unresponded.
Well, I get it. I get hate videos all the time. Like I have a folder of them on my computer. Like literally, it's like a collection. At some point, I plan on making an amusing video with music playing in the background. There's that many of them. But this one was different because this was two massive YouTubers and somebody else essentially trying to destroy somebody else's channel. This is not like the other ones. So in this case, I do have to say something. But after I say something, I'm done. Like yeah. I'm probably just going to block everybody involved with it, and I'm not going to address them again.
That's it, and then just look forward to the future with the plans that you have.
But the one thing I have to say, everybody, follow my new Twitter account because that is going to go to my default account. If you want to get a hold of me, follow me there. I will follow everybody that gives me a follow.
There you go. Absolutely fantastic. Right. We're going to leave it there for the night, folks.
You don't want to go on for another 3 hours, Noel?
No.
That's a joke, man. But yeah, no, the one thing I want to say though, Gobby guy, absolutely brilliant video. Everybody that participated, thank you.
Yeah, well done, everyone.
And give yourselves a clap. And thank you, and big thanks to Gobby guy. And we stand with Melina and Lee and Charlotte. You blew me away today, and we need to see more of this.
Oh, we've created a monster positive now, haven't we, Lee? We've created a monster.
What have we done?
Yeah, I'll be working on a couple of scripts now to send your way. How I'd like you to play.
Oh no, you're not going back from this, Lee. It's we're gonna make you the fictional 14th Doctor.
That's it. We'll get someone to regenerate you from Jodie into you.
Oh, I can't wait.
We'll put you in that costume.
Right.
Right. We'll leave it there, folks. Have a good one. All the channels are in the chat. We will talk to you tomorrow for some new Who. Good night. Have a good one, folks. See you soon. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.